Hello, I am with Jaime Romano, physician, PhD in Neurosciences, COO of Neuromarketing SADCB, a firm that it is based in Mexico. And Jaime, thank you very much for joining us in this interview on neuromarketing.
Thank you, Edgar. Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome, Jaime. First question, let's start with the basics. What is neuromarketing?
Well, I can say that neuromarketing pretends to analyze the decision-taking of persons, of humans.
Okay.
And it's been around for about 12 years for now. And it's a discipline that has been evolving over time. During the first years, really no one knew where neuromarketing will go. And as time is passing by, we are finding how to really approach the market, or how are the applications of this discipline in the marketing field.
Okay. So if I understand well, neuromarketing is the applications of the neurosciences in marketing.
In marketing.
Is that correct?
Yeah,
okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Jaime, what are the complexities of neuromarketing?
Well, I think one of the main things is that we are trying to bring to earth very complex information, like how the brain reacts to different stimuli, how the brain functions in the whole sense, and the gap between neuroscience and marketing is pretty big, because marketing is used to analyze only the rational part of the decision-taking process, the conscious part. Like right now, when we are speaking to each other, we are only communicating at the rational level. But there's some things that are being produced in our brains. Like, you have to pay attention to what I'm saying, you have to understand what I'm trying to say, your brain is doing analysis, synthesis, and also you are you are having some emotional experience of what we're talking. And all those things happen below the rational part.
Okay.
So now we have found out that neuromarketing is bringing this important information to the field of marketing. In my own experience, I come from the neuroscience field. I am a doctor, as you have just mentioned, and I'm a neuroscientist. I've been doing research for 30 years on how the brain functions, and really my coming into the neuromarketing field was by chance. It was by serendipity, because what I was trying to do is to learn how the learning process in children takes place. So that's when I made a model to understand the learning process, which in a broad sense is the same process that takes place when one makes decisions. So by doing some neuroscience processes, now we can understand how the market behaves, how someone takes choices and buys something instead of other things. So this is one of the complexities of neuromarketing, to bridge this gap between all this neuroscience, complex neuroscience, and bringing it down for consumer neuroscience.
For the firms. Okay, good. What is the way to measure the success of neuromarketing projects? Is there such a thing like a ROI, return on investment, or what's the way to measure them?
Well, one of the things that I've been bringing to this neuromarketing field is a model of decision making, and that's what I call the neuropyramid.
Okay.
which is in this book.
Okay.
And in this model, I show what happens in the whole process of making decisions.
Yeah.
As I was saying, has to do with attention, has to do with emotions,
Okay.
have to do with learning and understanding what the other is saying, and then if I'm motivating to buy or not.
Yeah.
So the way to analyze if some commercial or some product is going to have success in the market is by analyzing each one of these steps. And all the information that you can get from the whole process, then it can lead you to predict if someone is going to take the decision or not.
Okay. Good. 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 Regarding the methodologies of neuromarketing, what is, I'm talking about samples, what is the sample size that is well enough or required for a neuromarketing study?
Well, that's a very important question because what we do in our laboratory,
Yeah.
there's not a fixed sample.
Okay.
But depending on the market that you want to target,
Yeah.
the client always tells us which is how the market is composed, ¿cómo se dice? El nivel del market.
What's the level of the market?
What's the target?
The target market?
The target market in a specific region.
Okay.
So we take into account the populational pyramid,
Okay.
how the population is being composed,
Okay.
and then we run some statistical analysis,
Okay.
and with that statistical analysis, it tells us how many people do we need in order to impact the market.
Okay.
But in the broad sense, the samples of neuromarketing are much shorter,
Yeah.
much smaller
Right.
than what you need in the marketing field. Because what we are measuring is physiological reactions.
Yeah.
So all humans have more or less the same physiological standards or basis. Like we know that your heart will be beating more or less the same as my heart. We know that your temperature is 37 degrees, the same as mine. So with a smaller amount of samples, we can measure if all the sampling is producing the same kind of modification in this baselines. So the samples that you need in our marketing are much smaller than in the marketing field.
Okay. Okay. And in terms of talking about samples as well, in terms of the composition, the quality of the sample, is it important? I'm asking because some people are claiming that you can do a neuromarketing study in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and extrapolate the results to Finland or the UK.
No, I don't think that's correct because the idiosyncrasy in every place is much different.
Okay.
So also the same population, like if you are measuring some response in a population in Mexico, that will change over time.
Yeah.
It depends on how the people are, what's in your memory.
Yeah.
It's not the same like if you find out that there was an airplane crash today, and if I am measuring your reactions, if I expose you to a plane that crashes, and you have found out the day before that a plane crashed, then your reactions would be different than in some other time. Okay. So you cannot extrapolate what you are finding in Mexico to what you find in Peru or what you find in Spain.
Okay.
So you have to analyze each one of them because the brain will react differently depending on what you have stored into your memory.
Okay. Okay. So good. Anything is perfect. Neuromarketing is not an exception.
No, it's not.
So what are the limitations of neuromarketing?
I think the limitations of neuromarketing are at the in the ¿cómo se dice en la frontera?
The border?
In the border to what traditional marketing can give you. This is it's a complement with regular marketing.
Okay.
Because traditional marketing is analyzing the rational part, the thinking part, the conscious part of the decision taking. And neuromarketing is going to complement, but it will not have the profound responses as you can get with the other. If you rely only on traditional marketing, you can puedes perder la.
You can lose the.
You can lose the target.
It's okay.
What you are looking for.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of interpretation.
Okay.
You are interpreting what I'm trying to say, and sometimes the interpretation is not the right one.
Mm-hmm.
But if I would be like, if I would place the electrodes on you, and I will be measuring your attention, your analysis, your synthesis, your emotions, then I will know where to get more deep, where I can get deeper in your answers, asking you. So the limits of neuromarketing start where traditional marketing can give you the answers.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm expressing myself correctly.
Yeah, so the limitation is that neuromarketing can produce the kind of information that the traditional marketing can.
Yes.
So in
and another way around too.
Yeah. So so they are complement.
They're
the
complement.
Traditional with the neuromarketing.
Completely complement.
Okay, good. Nowadays, we the human beings have access to knowledge as ever before.
Yes.
So, as well, the neuromarketing technologies, as the time is going by, are dropping the price.
Yes.
The price is going down. So, on the one hand, we face a context with a lot of access to knowledge and
to instruments.
And to instruments, to the technologies. I have heard and read people that are claiming they are doing neuromarketing with some kind of strange background.
Yes.
The question is, what are the requirements or what are the characteristics a good neuromarketing has or a good neuromarketing should have in order to become a neuromarketer? A person who wants to become a neuromarketing should have.
Well, as we were saying before, this is a new field of knowledge.
Yeah.
It has only 12 years now.
Yeah.
And there have been like psychologists or marketeers who do not have really the information as a neuroscientist do. And then they buy equipment which is not a medical grade equipment.
Okay.
And then they get information like from the brain.
Yeah.
But when you record like brain waves, they are very prone to artifacts. Artifacts means that if you move your eyes or if you make like this, then the muscle will contaminate the EEG. So I think the only way to approach this field is by a multidisciplinary team.
Okay.
Like me as a neuroscientist, I know how to place the electrodes, I know to identify if they're artifacts or they're true EEG or electric activity coming from the brain. But there's some other people who are placing electrodes and getting information which is not real information. And then they come to conclusions which are most of the time wrong. That's one of the things. The other thing is that there's not a model, there's not a unified model between also the practitioners. We speak about different things and everyone understands different ways. So there's not a standard language.
Okay.
So this is a discipline which is in its infancy.
Yeah.
And that's the way we should understand it. Because there's many people who are going to conclusions without having really the knowledge or having the skills or having a model to understand what happens in the brain when the decision is taken. So I think we have to be much more careful at this time in order to approach the field. And as I was telling you before, we need a multidisciplinary team.
Okay.
It's very difficult. So we need neurophysiologists.
Yeah.
We need neuroscientists in this team. We need psychologists, consumer psychologists. We need marketeers, and all this team of people could approach the field and get more specific conclusions.
Okay, so the requirement is to be in a team with multidisciplinary members.
If you don't have a neuroscientist, it's better just to get aside from the field.
Okay, so neuroscience is a very strong requirement.
It should be, because it's the basis. If you're speaking about neuromarketing and trying to understand what's happening in the brain, at least you have to know neuroanatomy, neurophysiology, or what's happening inside the brain.
Okay. Yeah, true. Good. In management, in the last 30 years or so, we have seen fashions like total quality management, like Six Sigma, like re-engineering. The question is neuromarketing another trendy and fashion thing, or it's a thing that is here to stay?
I think it's here to stay because it's neuromarketing. It's uncovering parts of the decision-taking process in humans. Before, we only had a chance to know if someone was going to buy by asking them, by relying on focus groups or statistics or etc., which are very important, but only to understand the rational thinking, the conscious level. Now neurosciences, which have evolved in the last 30 years. I remember when I was at UCLA 30 years ago, we used to place electrodes in the brains of monkeys to understand where memory was. But after 30 years, now we have a lot of technology. We have a lot of understanding on how the brain is processing the information. So this is only a joint between what we have learned in the last 30 years about how the brain behaves and what are the processes in the brain become, and this information is getting into the field of marketing in the decision process, decision-taking process.
Okay.
So it's here
to stay.
To stay. So it's better for the people who are interested in this field to start learning about the brain and start learning about what's happening in the brain.
Exactly. Good. In few words, in a nutshell, what is the current state of neuromarketing and what can we expect in the near future?
I think, as I was telling you before, we are in an infancy state of neuromarketing. 8 years ago, we didn't know if neuromarketing would displace the traditional marketing. Now we know that it complements it. Many of the people who are in the neuromarketing field do not have the knowledge of what's going on into the brain. And most of them do not also have the knowledge of how to use this technology. And there are some people who are trying to make easy what is not easy. Some people are pretending to buy only very equipment which is not state-of-the-art or which is not medical-grade equipment, and then coming to conclusions. So I think this kind of congresses of the Neuromarketing Science and Business Association, we just started 3 or 4 years ago. It's a good way to interact. It's a place where neuroscientists like me can interact with marketeers and to interact with some other people.
Okay.
And but neuromarketing is growing and it's giving very important information to the marketing field.
Good. To finish, do you have something you would like to share with the people about neuromarketing? Anything like you want to? You think it's important to share with us?
Well, yes, I can share the neuropyramid. The neuropyramid is written in a book, which is this model of decision making, and it explains what happens in the brain until information gets into the senses. It passes through the limbic system where emotions are produced, and then it gets to the cortex where thinking is being taken place, analysis and synthesis, and then the decision taking. This neuropyramid is becoming a model in neuromarketing. And this book has a prologue of Philip Kotler, who is the father of the new marketing. And well, I can invite your audience to read the book.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. We will have a check and publish in the blog. Jaime, thank you very much for sharing with us your time as well as your knowledge.
Thank you very much, Edgar.